the corner where the trees at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Hello. Good evening from Chiefs Concerns. This is one of your hosts, Jason Dunn, Mr. 8 and 9 from the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming in, we have a little bit of some technical difficulties at the moment with Coach Kirksey, but Marcus is getting him straight here. But I've asked people to come on tonight. Obviously, one of the big questions that we have here with the Chiefs is the wide receiver room. And so when we're talking about wide receivers, a guru, somebody that understands everything about that position, who have taught the best, and I'm talking about developed some of the greatest wide receivers in the game, if not the best, one of them being Jerry Rice, the other one being Terrell Owens. This guy right here could tell you everything that you need to know. And so we'll get into the meat of it. Some of the complications that they have been having out there on the field, some of the things that they've been doing as far as some of the route running, how he feels about it, the development of it. Coach Kirksey has been in the league for a number of years, just coaching, like I said, some of the best. Recently, he had been the head coach at USFL with the Dragons. I think it was from the Seattle Dragons, XFL receivers coach, 2019, and the spring league with Alabama. Coach Kirksey, from all the circles, people will tell you, if you're looking for somebody who has a measured understanding of the game, one of those guys, one of those coaches that can get guys going, one of the coaches that Coach Al Saunders was just talking about, that has the passion and the drive that real pros look for a coach like this. That will be in Larry Kirksey. And so it's going to be a real treat tonight, just kind of handling those things, talking about those issues. And I'm seeing on Twitter, everybody's just kind of talking about some of these things, talking about rotation, talking about, should we use 7 receivers? It's too many in the game. What do you think about having like maybe 4 guys instead of the 7? What do you think about some of the route running that's been happening, the tempo of the game? Also, too, we talk about, just getting into a rhythm and just developing. But I will say this: one of the things that I did see out on Twitter was a tweet shared by MVS, and I tell you this: I want to commend him first off for just kind of looking at this head on and kind of attacking it by just saying he's going to get better. Some of the things he's going to do to kind of get himself to where he needs to be, that we can rely on him. And I tell you what, man, it takes a lot of heart to do that, to come out here, especially under all the criticism that he's been getting in the last few days. Obviously, with the drop pass that he had. But it's very important that we understand that these guys, they are human. These guys are not robots. They have emotions. They have families. They have children. And so he understands his role. Okay. And the thing about this, I've always said, knowing just playing the game, when you have fans out here, you always get better with the ones that support you. Okay, even in the wrong, even when things go wrong, and we've seen this with a case in point like McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman had that muff punt against the Bills, kind of came on the sidelines. He was really kind of disgruntled with the whole situation. Came down, and Patrick and Travis came in and they picked him up. They picked him up, and the attitude that guys have when you're playing out there. You understand everything's not going to be perfect. We talk about this as coaches. We talk about this as players. Is having one snap and clear. That's what it's about. And it's meaning like having short memory. So it's the same thing with if you do something wrong or you do something good. Okay, you're supposed to have a short memory so you can go back and continue to do what you're doing, being a professional and a pro. But I just wanted to commend MVS for coming out here saying he's going to get better. And I know he's going to go out to work. I know he's going to do it. And he's got to work hard at obviously all the catches, maybe getting some extra jug machines and, catching some more from Travis or from PM15. So I believe these guys are going to get it correct. I don't really have any doubt in that whatsoever. And I believe in them. I do. And I said this, we have what we have. Okay. And we're going to ride with them. So if you on that train with the Chiefs and ride with them all the way to the Super Bowl, then I would encourage you to stay on it. Okay. All aboard. Like I said this a couple of weeks ago, man, the train is full. Ain't no time for you to be jumping off and on, on the train, being, kind of sometime. All right. These guys do make mistakes. Things do happen. But guess what? Hey, we're going to be fine. We're, without a doubt, the best team in football. Okay. This last week, if it didn't show you that we were, and even in spite of us losing the game, we had this game really beating them handily with the Eagles. When I looked at some of the sports shows from the Eagles side, man, they knew they lucked out. They knew it. They didn't really have any answers. And so they knew they hung around long enough to get into the game. And so they had some fortune going their way. They had, a couple of turnovers by us that they were able to capitalize on. And that's the thing. We're in a position right now where we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Okay. We are our own worst enemy. The teams aren't doing anything to stop us. It's us stopping ourselves. That's exactly what's going on here. We scored those 2 touchdowns in the red zone, totally different ball game. We could have easily beat this team 35, to 14, 21, easily. And so I want everybody to just be encouraged to understand what exactly we have here. And we have the guys that we need. And Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, and the receiving corps. They're going to get better. And the best, without a doubt, the best defense in football at this moment. And I don't believe everybody's talking enough about them either. I kind of take it as a little disrespect because they bring all these other teams up of having a great defense, but they'll never really talk about the Chiefs as having one of the better defenses in the league, if not the best. And so we always got to constantly remind them. I don't know. It's always like you got to always prove yourself week in and week out how good you are. But I think teams are kind of taking notice, even though some people don't want to give you credit. That's okay. Fine. That's all right. Don't see this defense coming. Okay. They're absolutely humming. 5 sacks in the first half was an incredible feat. My thing is, when we come against the Raiders, this is Raiders week, right? It's a whole different conversation now this week. We're talking about the Raiders. Okay. I'll just give you a little bit background as far as like what the Raiders and the Chiefs really mean. It's almost like you have the 2 toughest guys, in the building in school. And at one point everything was going to blow up, right? And then finally you kind of get there and you get out there on the schoolyard and you wonder who's going to throw the first punch. And both of these guys are rough characters. They're going to give you everything that they got. All right. This is what this battle means this week against the Raiders. Okay. It's never no love lost between this team. I have friends, I have family that are huge Raider fans, huge fans. But you know what? I don't like the Raiders that much. I never have. I actually went out there when I was a free agent to the organization. And it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same as it was in Kansas City by far. But the thing is, this week, we know they're going to give us their best. Okay. They've been exploded in the last couple of weeks with Antonio Pierce being the head coach. He's a great player, solid guy. I'm actually happy for him being a head coach because that's really what they needed. Keep trying this experiment with McDaniels, and these coaches come from the what we say, the Patriot way. This ain't working. Doesn't really work out that way, right? It only works up there in New England, and we've seen that. And so this is going to be a good contest for us to kind of bounce back and get right back on the horse where we needed to be. We got a great defense. We understand that, but these guys are going to be ready. And I think because of the events of this past week, these guys are going to go out with a chip on their shoulder. They really are. I was saying a little bit about Travis Kelce and how he was kind of feeling some of the answers he gave to the reporters. Seemed like the easy, contested answers, if you will, right? Oh, what are you going to do? Travis Kelce is pissed right now. I mean, he is absolutely pissed. When I was watching the press of the day, I could see on Andy's face and I could see on PM15's face and Chris Jones, they're really tired of the questions. They really are. They're ready to provide answers. And so they understand that people are kind of doubting them. They understand that there's a group that's inside the building that is struggling. And they want to do everything they possibly can to get them back on track. And I think sometimes as fans, we got to do the same thing. We got to treat these guys with a little level of grace. We understand everything's not going to be perfect. We wonder sometimes, what would it feel like if somebody came to your job and started telling you sucked and all these different things, right? Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. And I understand it. This is a performance-based business. These guys get paid a whole lot of money to perform, right? But things do happen. We understand that. Nothing's going to be perfect. But hey, guess what? We still got their back. So with that being said, like I said, we're going to get back into a little bit more of talking to Larry Kirksey. I was hoping it was going to be finished right about now, but we'll just kind of keep talking. We'll look in. Let me see some of the comments. So Mike Brennan said, I hate the negative comments our players receive. I was raised that if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do. But you know what? Hey, this is where the world is, right? We understand that negativity is one of those things that sells. And people sometimes don't tune in until they hear negativity, and they can't wait to give it. And so that's what this whole world with the Twitter and the social media, I mean, you got trolls out here, like they live on that. They live on the negative comments. And some could just be downright just ugly and rude. It really is. I just never really got to that of doing things of that nation. I'm like you, Mike. I try to say, give people a level of grace that I'm not going to talk negatively about somebody because I wouldn't want that, right? At the end of the day, man, we all trying our best. Hopefully we're trying our best to become better than we were yesterday. And that's what we need to do. So appreciate that. Appreciate that. My man on here, I'm with it. Only veteran soldiers know. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Green, man, we understand when guys go out there on a football field, you're the man in the arena. The hard work that you put in, day in and day out. I mean, the beatings and the pain that you go through on a daily basis, the emotional and the mental strain that you have to deal with it. Sometimes you feel like the weight is on, just the world is on your shoulders, right? To go out there and perform, to just keep being your all. But this is what this business is about. It's what we sign up for. We okay with that. We have no problem with it. But we understand what their fight is. We've been there. We understand that. So when we talk about sometimes the negative comments come in, we got to remember who's the guy in the arena, right? Who's the guy that's putting himself out there to be criticized. But my thing is, man, look, let's continue to support these guys. My man, Keys, right there. I'm stupid. They're smart. They were right. I was wrong. They're the best. I'm the worst. They're very good looking. I'm not attractive. I hear you, right? Deflecting all the, negativity. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. Right. You just kind of back away. You pick and choose your battles. But, kind of like I said, going back to MBS, the way, and he was really just kind of like showing, how he felt about that drop and the loss. I feel for him. I hated that for him. But what I do know is this: he's made good catches, some pivotal catches in the past, and that's what I believe he is. I believe he has that. I know he has that in him. So he'll get it right. They're gonna go to work like they're supposed to, and with that, man, we'll just make sure, man, we just keep supporting him on those things, right? Yeah, I was quoting Happy Gilmore to Chubbs for those who missed it. Yeah, Happy Gilmore, great movie. All right. Let me see who else we got. Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. I hate the Raiders too, and I live in Las Vegas. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Well, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. There we go. Well, listen, I tell you what, when you're out there, you represent the Chiefs Kingdom, okay? You go out there, you're going to see all the Raiders, all the crazy costumes, right? The skull heads, all the crazy stuff that they got out there. You wear your Chiefs Kingdom stuff proud. All the arrowhead, all the things that you need to wear out there, you do it. You walk around there with your head held high, okay? You go out there and you represent us. Now, look, don't get in no fights with these jokers because, they like doing all that fighting. You actually see it in the stands all the time. Them jokers out there, man, with just they some crazy folks. They some crazy folks. So Raiders fan. I told you my family, the ones that like the Raiders, I don't think them jokers are wrapped tight anyway. So I'm always asking, why are you a Raiders fan? I get it, back in the day, Hal Davis and those guys, what they was doing, I get that part of it. But now, hey man, come to the light, right? Come to the better side, right? Come to the shiny part of the Chiefs. Okay. Come see the light. Okay. Get out of the darkness, right? That's what we need to do. Keys, happy belated birthday as in person. I can't get, brother. Appreciate it, my brother. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank everybody who came out here to just wish me a happy birthday during this time. One of my boys, is his birthday. Carlos Best. Happy birthday, Best, man. If you listening to this show, just want to let you know, man, happy birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Known each other for a long time. I had a good group of guys. There's been some great birthdays this past month. Like some of my homeboys, really. Jason Furr, another guy. Happy birthday to him too, man. So, I love giving those things. I love giving the birthday wishes because I got a lot of love that time. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sitting over here. My son just sent me a picture. He got me on TV showing it. I love it. Son, love you. Love you. Okay. See you later on tonight. And this is for Thanksgiving. Hey, look. Hey, everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be safe on the road traveling, okay? Be safe on this road. I mean, I was seeing the traffic just, when I was coming here home. Everybody's trying to get to where they're getting to, okay? And look, do everything responsibly, okay? If you're going to have some sips, have a designated driver to take you where you need to go, okay? Do not take any chances that's going to put yourself or anybody else in jeopardy. All right. So let's be smart about those things. But more importantly, let's celebrate this Thanksgiving and be thankful for a lot of things that we do have. Family, friends, our lives, jobs. There's a lot to be thankful for. And we can't forget that. And so another one is this team that we have. Okay. 7-3. Let's be thankful for this team. All right. These guys bring a lot of joy to what we've been doing. Okay. So let's not forget that. But more importantly, like I said, be around friends and family, hug everybody, love everybody. Just tell them how much you appreciate them and how grateful you are for them too. So good deal. Yeah. So if you had any more runs to go to the store, it's the time to do it now. It's the time to do it now. But we'll talk about, let's get into a little bit more, like I wanted to talk about this defense that we have. Okay. When we're sitting over here and we're talking about some of the greatest, the young secondary that we have, we just don't get talked about those guys enough. the job that I've seen Snead do the past few weeks is just absolutely remarkable. And that is taking two of the best receivers, if not the two best receivers in the game, and putting them in jail. I mean, he put clamps on these guys. And to me, if this didn't solidify that we need to do something with this guy during the soft season to keep him here, I'm all for it. I am. One of the most talented guys that plays corner. He can play nickel guy. He can do it all. He can do it all. You know, bypassing all the penalties that guys have, not a big deal. I don't worry about that because those things are aggressive penalties. I like it. If you need to go in and you need to change a person's attitude by putting your hands on somebody, that's what Snead is doing. That's my game. I love that. I love that part of it. Okay. He's right here. He's me hooks. He's right here. What got me paid. All right. I used to give turmoils to defensive end and linebackers. So Snead has been doing a tremendous job of those things. And so I think he's going to have a big task on his hand now. So this will actually, with these 3 games, who had the best wide receivers that the league has known to have this year, Devontae Adams. So that's another thing we got to see. So we're going to give Snead that because I know he'll be able to handle it. And if, we don't have Snead on him, guess what? We got our guy, McDuffie. Hey, the crime dog, okay? 22, man. He's playing lights out football. And I said, man, Trent, man, the way he plays the game, okay, you could just tell his approach, the way he's able to fly around, his response to the things that goes out on the field. He is trying to become, and he's doing it, the best corner in the game. And I know we could talk about a lot of different guys out here. There's a lot of different names, but I think he needs to be up in the conversation. I really do. I think he needs to be in the conversation as one of the best corners in the National Football League. Okay, he's just making play after play after play. So whether it's in the backfield, obviously with the sacks, or it's the pass breakups, getting the turnovers, going for a touchdown against Miami. I mean, Trent has been doing everything. He's been all over the place. One of the leading tacklers on the team. This guy, man, I tell you what, slowly but surely, at the end of the day, quietly, he might be start talking about in conversation, defensive player of the year. Maybe I'm going too far with it. Maybe I'm going too far. Okay. I'm just, because I like his game so much, I think his joker right here, man. I think, shoot, he's showing out. He's showing out. So he needs to be respected. But we know they got a good receiving core on the other side, in Jacoby, Devontae, and Renfro. Renfro, what has he been doing? He's been coming about. Okay, talented guy in Mike Mayer, the tight end. But we're gonna leave those to Cook. Okay, and we're gonna leave that to Reed. And those guys have been playing tremendous football as well. So it's gonna be a good look this week. I think we're gonna be fine. So let's see what else we got. JD, you got any crazy Raider Week game stories? Absolutely. I remember Marcus Allen telling a story from when he was a Chief of bags of urine being thrown at a Chiefs team bus. Oh, man, I got some really good ones. This is like the one I tell all the time. So we go out to Oakland, and we're leaving the hotel, going to the stadium. Now, mind you, while we're going to the stadium, everybody gets ready, and it starts slowing down. Okay, maybe like 5 miles out. I kid you not. Honest. It looked like there was a black cloud over the arena. Okay, that just set the scene. It just looked like it was sunny because we stayed on the San Francisco side. Okay, and we came over the bridge. We never stayed in Oakland. Always in San Fran. Okay, go past Alcatraz, a whole different, just the whole environment, how it's all set up. While we're driving to the stadium, I see the black cloud over. It looks like it's about to rain. I'm just like, oh my gosh, did we just walk through the gates of hell? I mean, that's how I felt. And so while we're doing this, there are people while we're driving that have their butt cheeks outside the car mooning us. And they're flapping in the air. I mean, they grabbing the cheeks and making it. I'm like, yo, this whole scene is just crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy. And so I'm finishing up this story, right, on this Raider deal. Larry, how's it going, brother? You doing all right?
Well, I tell you what, thanks to my man.
That's why we got you on. We got you on. I'm gonna finish this story real quick on the Raiders.
Okay. Finish.
So while we driving to the stadium, after looking at all the cars mooning us, giving us the finger and y'all suck. You get up there and you see the fence, and all of a sudden you see nothing but the Hell's Angels, right? The motorcycle club, and it looked like it's just thousands of them, just miles around, and just like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at, right? Well, we pull into the stadium. Everybody's in leather pants and all the whole garb of the Raiders, and there was this old man that was in a wheelchair, and they had to get him across the parking lot. So the buses we had to stop and wait for him, right? We hold him up. Hey, let me get in. So he goes. We push him across. He gets to the other side, and I'm talking about he's sitting like this in his wheelchair, like decrepit, bent over, and he gives us the finger like this. Just literally give us a finger. Didn't even look at the bus. Just gives us the finger. And I'm just like, okay, we're in the building. We're in the building. And so they're pelting us, man, with batteries and everything. I mean, that's Raiders. That's the Raiders week. But man, I'm telling you that I can tell you story after story of like the Raider week and playing in that stadium, what it was all about, especially in Oakland. Larry, I told him that we never stayed in Oakland. We always stayed in San Fran. We always,
You're smart.
Yeah. We just weren't going to do it. We weren't going to do it. So, but yeah, man, classic stories. How you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. Like I told your partner there, next time call me a half hour earlier.
You work it all out, right?
Oh, we got it done, though.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm just sitting over here just running my mouth a little bit about the Raider week. We're talking a little bit about the wide receivers, a little bit about our defense and what the game was last week and what we're looking for this week. But I told everybody on here that if there was ever a coach that you needed to learn anything about the wide receiver position and could give you all the integral parts of what you need to do, how to develop guys, what guys go through, I said the person that you would have to go through, that you would want, is you, Larry Kirksey. That's who I would want. And I don't think people really understand your resume, know your resume. Maybe you can kind of help out a little bit, kind of telling people exactly who you are. I saw the video, man. And first off, congratulations getting inducted into Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. To that was a big deal. Also being an Eastern Kentucky guy from the state of Kentucky, my brother, I appreciate it, man. You've been doing some wonderful, beautiful, beautiful things. So,
well, Jason, it all started with our mentor, Coach Roy Kidd. You know that. And it's funny. I've been truly blessed. The coach this great game for a long time, but I didn't get drafted. I didn't have a free agency, and I needed 8 hours to graduate from college. So I said, Coach, can I come back just to an assistant? So we lived in OD, right?
Right.
So he moved me out of the dorm, moved me to Todd Hall, which was the best thing in the world that happened to me. So he put me out of the dorm, and I was a student coach. And so I enjoyed it so much. I graduated that December, and I decided I want to coach. I said, hey, Coach, I want to coach. So he brought me back, let me do my student teaching. And I was going to take a job at Madison Central there. And he called me that summer and said, hey, Larry, he said, Miami of Ohio, Miami University is looking for a young coach. He said, I can't pay you a lot of money, but they're looking for a young coach. And Miami of Ohio, and this, is called the cradle of coaches. That's where all the great coaches come from. And here I am, 23 years old, and I'll go there, and we finished 10th in the country. And I'm fresh out of college. And we beat Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, people like that. So that's how I got started. And but at the same time, I appreciate what you said about me. It's funny. I've been coaching for a long time, and I coach running backs, tight ends, and receivers. And but I can honestly say the reason that I had success is because I stood on the shoulders of giants, guys that played before me, who I tried to emulate, guys that I coached, and then the guys, like the Jerry, the T.O.s, the Andre Johnson, the Hopkins, and so forth and so on. I coached those guys, and those guys were eager to learn. And I always thought I was a good coach. And being a good coach is all about communicating and teaching. And I always say it starts in the classroom first, and then it goes to the field. But at the same time, it's about communicating. And up until I was 63 years old, I was actually running routes.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I told a laboring run, and I talked to Jacoby Jones today, and we were laughing about it. But at the same time, I always threw my routes to the passing drills to my receivers, and so I had a great feel for that, and that's what I say a quarterback receiver. They have a relationships. They can go and you see all the great relationships that those guys, Patrick Holmes and Kelce and Hill when he was there. People like that have connections because they understand what those guys are going to do. It's about being on the same page. But the bottom line is that to be a great receiver or tight end like Kelce and yourself, you have to put the work in. And I was very fortunate to coach the guys that always would put the work in. I know when I went to San Fran, I coached Emmitt Smith in college, coached running backs, and in Alabama, I coached a bunch of guys. They said, "Well, how are you going to coach Jerry Rice?" I said, "I'm going to coach Jerry the same way I coach anybody else." And the beautiful thing about that was Jerry Rice appreciated that. Those guys that know that you got their back,
Yes.
that you're going to fight for them, and that you're going to have their best interests at hand. And the thing about Jerry Rice and T.O. eventually found that out, is that they're workaholics, man. They work.
Yeah.
The Andre Johnson, they work. Jerry I had to sit down sometimes because he was always up doing something. In the NFL, you got, the offense, then you got the scout team players, right?
Right.
Well, Jerry wants to run go routes for the scout team. That's how passionate he was about the game. Jerry Rice is the first guy out on the practice field. He's catching punts, kickoffs. He's out running around. So guys like that don't mind the first guys out. They're doing the little things. They're preparing their body. They're stretching. They're catching balls. They're working at it. Those guys were able to do. So, but anyway, like I said, I've been blessed to coach a lot of great players, and I love the game. And right now, I still teach and coach and mentor. I told you the other day I had a chance to go to Innsbruck, Austria, but I'm not going to go. It's a little bit too far from home and too far away. But this great game has not changed, Jason, has it? It's still about running, throwing, catching, tackling, blocking. The thing that has changed in this game are the athletes. I think the athletes are better. They're faster. They're bigger. They're stronger. But I don't think the athletes are doing the little things that the guys before them did it. They take it for granted because they are gifted, and I don't think they work as hard as those guys do. And it's the little things that I was watching the game the other night, the Kansas City game. Wow,
Man.
Yeah, and football, it happens in every league, but it's the little things. It's the time that you invest. It's been, it's your job. At the end of the day, I like telling this story. We were playing the New York Jets, I think it was, and we're in overtime. And T.O. said, "Coach, get me the ball." Well, I said, "T.O., I said, you're going to help us win the game. Just do your job." And so T.O. wanted the ball. Jerry wanted the ball. Brent Jones wanted the ball. Garrison Hurst wanted the ball. So all these guys want the ball. So there's only one ball, right, Jason?
It's only one ball. It's all
Only
about
one ball. And I said, and then if you go back, you can Google this play. Garrison Hurst, 96-yard touchdown run. I told T.O., I said, T.O., you're going to help us win this ball game. And on that touchdown run in overtime, he had 4 blocks. And he ran them all the way to the end zone at 96 yards down the field. So you can go and Google that. But at the same time, I had to say, hey, just be patient. During the week, we may throw Jerry in 707, 8 balls, and the other 6 balls, one goes to T.O., J.J. Stokes, Brent Jones, and the running back. But I said in the game now, you got to be prepared, because in the game, if you're not ready for the ball, that ball's going to come your way.
That's right.
And true enough, those guys catch 4, 5, 6 balls a ball game. But they may only catch 4 or 5 during the week. But on game day, he catch 4, 5, 6, and the game winner. So it's like T.O. for instance. I love telling stories. You guys got time, right?
Oh, yeah. We got plenty of time. That's right.
You remember the catch Dwight made for the 49ers, right?
Oh, yeah, in the back of the end zone. Oh, yeah.
Back in the end zone, okay. Well, we're playing the Green Bay Packers for the NFC, semifinals. And the Green Bay goes down the scores with 2 minutes to go in the ball game. And Teal had a great year. This is his second year. He had a great year. And for some reason, he can't catch a cold. The sun's in his eyes. He's dropping balls. He's doing this and that. And so we're in 2 minutes to go in the ball game. We're going to get the ball on the 20-yard line. And they said, take T.O. out of the ball game. And so I said, hey, Mooch, let's put T.O. back in the ball game, because we're in a 2-minute drive now with Jerry and J.J. Stokes and a tight end and 2 backs. Does that make sense?
No. 2 minutes?
I said, Mooch, let's put T.O. back in the ball game. So 2 plays later, he catches the catch 2 down the middle of the field for the touchdown.
That's right.
You can see him crying. But at the same time,
oh my gosh,
guys going to have bad games. And you got to accept it sometimes. Hey, there's a bad day. You got to come back and go to work. But, to penalize a guy and get mad at a player, for not doing his job, then when he's had a great year, so you got to find a way to get him back in the ball game. And thank God Mooch listened to me. We put him back in the ball game. He caught that pass, and, we ended up going on, losing in the championship. But at the same time, you got to do that. But like I said, there's stories and stories you could talk about the game itself, but the game is still a great game, without a doubt. It's a fantastic game, and I spend a lot of time watching, college football. I even go to a high school game on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Thursday and Sundays, NFL.
Yeah.
So.
I tell you what, man, that's a lot of good stuff you just had right there, and you kind of answered, a lot of the questions that I had. But one of the things, like you saying that the guy's going to have a bad game. Okay. We understand that. It's the NFL. Like, nothing's going to be perfect. I mean, we practice to try to be perfect. You try to have perfect plays in practice, right? So it looks seamless in the game. You try to, everything looks like it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
But you putting in an exorbitant amount of effort, okay, to try to be that guy. That's what you're hoping for. And even still, you may still have a bad game. Like you said, T.O. I remember that play. I remember him catching the ball, getting blasted, holding the ball, coming up so emotional on the sideline, people trying to grab him, and he's almost inconsolable, right?
Yes, true.
And you could just see the emotion, because he understood he had such a bad game, but that was like that release. He relieved knowing, man, I'm still that guy, right? The time when you was telling, my coach was telling me this, so sometimes when, we may have doubts. We have a bad game, we might start having doubts in ourselves, like, man, what is going on today? I'm not having a good game. It is just, everything is going terrible, right? Your cleats don't, look too big, your gloves like they, it doesn't fit. And you just think somebody doesn't mess with you. You don't quite understand what's going on. But I do believe, and I heard Peyton Manning say this, and we know this also. Peyton Manning and those guys, when it happened, they do the little telecast on when they do Monday Night Football, and we're talking. And they was like, oh, man, I can't believe you dropped it. Peyton Manning said, well, he's got to go right back to him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's what Peyton
Absolutely.
said. Yes. Peyton
Absolutely.
said he's got to go right back to him. And I think people don't quite understand, and I was just talking about this before, it's like one snap and clear,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what it is. Good things and bad things, it's got to be one snap and clear. It's out of your mind.
Absolutely.
So, part of going right back to him and just letting him know, look, I didn't lose confidence in you. All right? I know you can make plays for me, so I'm going to make sure that I'm going to keep relying on you. Okay? Don't go on the tank on me, right? We know how the tank is. Don't go on the tank. Don't bow your head, get over there, and, you throw on your helmet. And don't do that, okay? Because at some point, we're going to need you.
Absolutely.
At some point, I don't know, it may not be today. Today wasn't your day. But some point when we get into the playoffs or a pivotal part of the game, we're gonna have to need you to come in big for us. And so I thought that was just like what you just said. You got to get him back in the game. You got to get him back in the ball game. And so I'm glad, like you're talking to them. Those things are so important. I think fans don't quite understand. They don't quite get it, right? Because you're the worst guy in the world when you drop a pass and lose a game. And now the next thing you know, cut him, get rid of him. Sell your house. I mean, there's been so many skits and memes they put out here on Twitter to get rid of MBS, and and I just I don't buy into any of it at all, because I understand how hard it is being in the arena. We understand as being in the arena what those things mean. Okay, we're regular people. We go through the emotional things. Nobody wants to drop a pass. Nobody wants to be that guy. But we understand the pressure that we have. What I think, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, do you think, and do you think that some of these things are lost? Like you're talking about some of the techniques, or maybe the working hard, the efforts. And you said the little things, okay? The little things that guys concentrate on back in the day that I knew that guys didn't take for granted. Like you said, Jerry, here he is, Hall of Famer. We already know first ballot, best wide receiver in the game. And he's out there the first one out in practice, catching punts, catching balls. And he's the last one to leave. So he put in extra effort. He put in the time. And I think
go ahead, finish.
No, I was going to say, this young group of receivers, this young class, like you said, because they're so dependent upon their talent that they don't feel like it's necessary to go in and do all the little things. They're the first one to jump in the car and head back up to practice. They're ready to get out of it. Right? They're ready to get out of there, ready to go home and do whatever they do in their home, right?
Absolutely. And I think part of that, and again, it goes into coaching too, because, if you want to know what kind of player, if you want to know what kind of coach you are, and you cut the film on, and if you see that player doing what he's supposed to do, then you're a pretty damn good coach. You see that player dropping passes and acting up and cussing guys out and, not doing the little things.
Yeah.
And, something's wrong. Then either you're allowing that to happen or that's what you're coaching.
Woo. Oh, my goodness.
Either you're allowing that to happen, that's what you're coaching. And Jerry Rice, for instance, I love talking about Jerry and T.O. and all those guys. I never forget, we played Washington Redskins opening night, Monday Night Football, when they first opened the stadium up. And Jerry was coming back off his knee injury. And he caught a post pass. And he was running for a touchdown, about 40 yards down the field. And he got caught by Darryl Green.
Oh, yeah.
Darryl Green gonna catch
everybody. He catching everybody.
And Jerry, he caught another pass, and then all of a sudden Jerry waved for me to come over to him, and I did. And he said, "Do you think I'm gonna be the third wheel in this J.J. Stokes Terrell Owens?" He said, "You're crazy." And I walked away, and Moots walked by, and he grabbed Moots and spun him around and said, "Hey." And then Moots said, "What's wrong with Jerry?" I said, "Coach, just leave him alone. He's fine. We're winning like 40-something-7. We're just killing them." Yeah. So after every game, I'll go to the back of the plane. After win or lose, I go to the back of the plane. This particular night I did. Because, we're playing in D.C., the game's over, and we land back in San Francisco like 4 or 5 in the morning. And you get a couple hours of sleep and go down to the office. Well, I go to the office that morning, and there's my lights on my phone that's lit up. There's a message, and it's Jerry Rice. He said, "Coach, I want to apologize for last night." He said, "You're like a father figure to me." He said, we're cool. He said, "I apologize." So I'll go down later on that day. He's down in the training room, and I see him on the table already and getting iced up. And I said, "Hey, Jerry, what's up?" He said, "Coach," "you really pissed me off last night." I started laughing like I am now. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When I was talking to you, turned and walked away." And I said, "Jerry, you know me. If I'd have stayed there, you and I have been fighting on national TV." And he started to laugh, and he said, "You're right, Coach. You're right." Jerry was like this, when guys weren't doing what they're supposed to do, he would look at me and I'd look at him, and my lip would quiver. He said, "Oh, shit." He said, "All right, guys, let's pick this up." But that's the relationship we had. I could say to Jerry, "Hey, Jerry," for T.O., or the young receivers, and J.J. Stokes, I said, "Hey, Jerry, today I'm going to rip your butt in the meeting." He said, "Okay, Coach." So I would say, just rip it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'll just let the film run. When he does something, like I said, he should have gone inside, and he went outside. So I just run it back and forth. And he said, and Jerry said, "Hey, Coach, I probably should have gone outside, probably, right?" And I said, "Yeah, you're right." But that's a relationship you have. You got to find a way to make them think it's both of you guys communicating, and then there's nothing in the world those guys won't do for you. I mean, that's just the way I'm always coached, and I don't scream and yell. In fact, if I scream and yell, you can ask anybody I've ever coached. They say something's wrong because I don't scream and yell. And they call it hard coaching. Well, my hard coaching is I'm going to pull you next to me, and I'm going to pinch you probably a little bit in the side. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pinch you a little bit and say, "Hey, why'd you do that?"
Yeah.
Just you and I, and very unassuming. But I'm not going to sit there and scream and yell at you. That just because I didn't like it as a player myself.
Right.
So that's not hard coaching. Hard coaching is when you can pull them aside and say, "Hey, man, next time make sure you get a little bit more depth on that route. Make sure you get inside rather than outside, and just talk to them." And that video they did for me going to the Hall of Fame, it was unbelievable because every scene was me just talking to the guys, communicating.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what it's all about, because if you do that, there's nothing they won't do for you. They'll play like it's the last down of the ball game, even though it's only the first down. That's what you get out of those guys.
Man, it is so true. And I've always wanted to be that coach that I wanted. And I would take a little bit from every coach that I had, all the great coaches. And we know bad coaches. We do. We know some terrible coaches, like that hard coaching, some of those things, right? Like the dog cussing you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking they're going to get it out of you. And you can't do it to grown men up in the NFL. First off, you might really be fighting on the sideline, for one. Okay. You have some hands around your neck. Okay. Let's be honest here. But also, too, you got to find how to get the most out of guys. And so we know it's all about respect. We respect the player, and he respects you, and you come to him, and he knows that you have his best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
Like you said, when you know that you have his back in every situation, he can trust that.
Absolutely.
And almost like it is a friend. It's a friend relationship that you have, because he knows he could come to you with anything. You can tell him anything, and you'll be honest with him, right? Good or bad. Hey, sometimes you might not like what I had to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth, right? It's going to be, Coach. So I've always loved coaches like that. I always wanted to be a type of coach like that, and I was. I took it to heart. Like, look, I'm not going to dog cuss anybody. Now, I might cuss a little bit around them, right, to get a little loud, okay? Because I'm animated. I get animated. I'm a tight end. I play defensive end. I started at defensive end first, Coach.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So I got a little bit of that craziness in me, okay?
Yeah.
But I also understand that there's a temperament and a measure that you want to have when you are communicating with your guys, okay? And there's a situation now with the Chiefs, okay? they have a young wide receiver coach. All right. And you said it there that sometimes when you watch what's going on film, that could be an indication of the coaching. It could be an indication of maybe what they're being told. Now, obviously, we don't know the relationships or how the dynamics work inside of the building, right? Because every team is different. We understand that. Every coaching style is different. But some of the things that I do see in some of the route running, there's no crisp routes. There's no setting them up for, getting out of the break, creating separation, right? They're saying all these guys don't get open, but I'm sitting there saying he didn't do anything to set him up. He didn't do anything to buy back any of his real estate. Okay, you know how we talk about that, getting your real estate back. And so what that means is, when you want to set a guy up to create that space. And one of the plays in the game is they were looking probably corner came and pressed on him. I think the guy was going to run a post, I'm not quite sure, but he stacked it to get on top of it, right? But he didn't go back outside. I'm sure you saw it, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, great, he stacked it. Okay, he got him on his back hit. He's got the corner. He's got everything he needs to do. Now he just needs to finish the play, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It would have been masterful. It would have been masterful. You could have taken a play like that if it all worked out well, catching on the sideline, and you could have took it to a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
He easily said he helped the quarterback gain a little bit more of that real estate on the outside. Now he can catch the ball on the outside shoulder. Now he has room to run, maybe stiff arm, and get up the field, almost score. Okay. And so it just seems like sometimes it's off key. It just seems like they're not the communication, right? Mm-hmm. You said it. It's paramount. Okay, it's imperative that you have great communication. We're in week 10. It was week 10, right? It was week 10. And I get this is a young group. Okay, you got the veteran guy that you got on there is MVS. He's the oldest guy in the group. We were politicking to get older veterans on the team. I mean, because we just feel like a veteran's needed, especially when you have a young group of guys, to teach them how to be professionals. Okay, to kind of show them the ropes a little bit about what it is you need to do, whether work ethic or. But a veteran could help a guy like that say, "Hey, man, listen, when you run this route, okay, you did a great job getting on top of it. Now, fade back outside for the catch. Like, we got to work on those things, like those things you work on in practice." And so when we got this young wide receiver coach, we don't quite know what's going on, what's being said, but I have to say it is coaching. Part of it is the coaching. It is the coaching. I'm not going to speak disparagingly on anybody, but I know you will be very particular on what it is you want these guys to do and what route you want them to run.
Well, the thing about it is that, again, I don't know who the receiver coach is, but I'm sure that, hey, he's doing his diligence to make sure the guys are doing, what Andy and the offensive coordinator wants them to do. I watch a lot of football, and when I was in San Francisco, what a drive is, basically and all that. But anyway, so we put in a slot formation, and this is in, I want to say, 96, 97 maybe, and say, okay, so we're going to run, and everybody runs it. They take the slot and fade him on the outside, and the outside guy comes underneath. Okay, we call it big box back in the day, because all that sideline with this guy holding the corner here, you got all that room out there to work. The guy drops back, you come underneath. We call it big box, and everybody's sitting there. And I sit at the TV and I yell at the TV sometimes because the guys are running, and some guys run it perfect, and some guys are running to the sideline. Why would you run a route to the sideline to help the DB? He forces you wide. I watch guys run go routes on the outside. Yeah. And you getting all the way to the sideline, you don't stack anybody, like what you're saying. And I was a stickler about that, and most coaches are sticklers about it, but that's just the way I've always taught it. And to me, you take best release. If I'm getting pressed, if I'm getting pressed, I'm going to take best release. I don't care if I'm running a slant, if I'm running a go, if I'm running a comeback. I guess you could say, how can you run a comeback on an inside release if he's pressing me? because if I take an inside release, and what's his job? He said, don't get beat where? Deep, right? That
Deep.
means he's got to run fast to do what? Catch up.
Catch
And
up.
when
That's
he's really
right.
fast to catch up, I'm going to throw him by.
Mm-hmm.
Or, just about any route. But, you know about running slants, running hitches, and running curls. But when you run, they're step routes, right? But if you get press coverage now, how can you take steps now? You can't take steps anymore. You got to take what? Yards.
Yards. Right.
To make everything time up.
Yes.
And it's one thing that I've always prided myself in doing. And Bill Walsh co-signed, and he didn't know I was doing this already. He said to Mariucci, he said, you need to have all the coaches make drill tapes. That's what he said. And so the coaches had to make drill tapes. I already had my drill tape because I go out and do drills. And I've got if you YouTube 49 drill tape, you can see guys running my drills and me out there sometimes. But I got all those drills that I've worked, whether it's route, whether it's push crack, whether it's stalk block, and I got a run game. And it's all about teaching. But I think that, coaches should, drill the route. And then all of a sudden, it's easy in the game.
Oh,
The only other thing I would say, Jason, is about receiver play. Jerry Rice. He had J.J. Stokes, but Terrell Owens came to us in the third round. And Terrell Owens came to us with some branches. He didn't have a route tree. He had some branches. And he had some branches, okay? And the very first pass that Steve Young threw to Terrell Owens, a third-round draft pick, guess what Terrell did to it? It's a pat and go. Guess what happened?
Yeah.
He dropped it. I said, oh, my gosh. And Terrell and I tell the story all the time. I said, what have we done? I wanted him, but here's a guy. But what Terrell did, he emulated Jerry. He watched Jerry. And pretty soon he was running routes just like Jerry. And it got to a point that, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. I mean, that was his MO. And he's a good enough athlete. He really was. Probably one of the most, another guy was J.D. Stokes. J.D. Stokes is 6'5". Now, I've got some drill tapes on him, will blow your mind, of him running routes at 6'5". And every time I get my drill tapes out, the first thing they ask, who is this guy right here? Who's this 83?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And so it's just a teaching tape to run a basic, to run a go, to run a dig, to run a corner, to run a slant. I mean, it's unbelievable. But that's what I pride myself in, is that, hey, it's man-to-man. He's pressed. I don't want you standing up in the air. I don't want you running in place. I want you to go 1, 2, and go. Because that DB's told, if he gets his hands on you, he's got you. But if he doesn't get his hands on you, he's got to fight to catch up. And so that's just, it's always been my MO to try to, best release, play fast, play under control. And, like I said, I've had fun doing it, but I've had some great players to coach. And if they listened, and they did, it was easy. The game was a lot easier for those guys.
Yeah.
So.
When I'm looking at this, and what do these guys go now? Okay, because you don't have a Jerry Rice there to teach a TO. You got the young group of guys. MVS being the elder statesman, which he had a really third wide receiver up in Green Bay, comes to Kansas City to be the guy, the number one receiver. You don't have that guy. You don't have that toolage. Okay. The closest guy that you got there is maybe Travis Kelce, but he's playing tight end. Okay. And Travis and Patrick's on a whole different wavelength with each other. They're on a whole different wavelength. So they can't really emulate what Travis Kelce does, because Travis is running some of his own routes, Okay. And I said this, and I'm going to stand by this. I said, when Travis runs his own routes, sometimes what it may do, and you'll see this, that there's 3 guys in the same area, okay? And it may mess up the integrity of some of the route running and some of the plays.
Mm-hmm.
But the crispness I see of the wide receivers, there's no snap. There's no exploding out. Al Saunders in practice used to tell us, every route that you run is a 9 route. I don't care what it is. If it's flat, if it's an out, it's a basic, it's a comeback, everything is a 9 route, right? That's what you got to show them. That's what you got to show them, because that's how you get open, and you beat them with speed. Like you said, if somebody sees you flying like a bat out of hell, that corner, he's got to get on his horse. He has to, right?
All right. And with that said, this my last point for you is,
Okay.
there's a guy named Andre Johnson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who did he have to emulate? I coached Andre for 7 years. Who did he have to emulate?
Nobody. He was the guy down there. We started with him, right?
He had nobody
Yeah.
to emulate. And, I got him after his 3rd, 4th year, I guess. And it was unbelievable what he could do. I mean, a guy that big and the routes he could run. And he would have had 30 more touchdowns if the ball had been thrown out there where he didn't have to slow down to catch it and get tackled. But that's how good he was.
Yeah.
And nobody, and I love Jerry, I love T.O., love JJ, Jacoby Jones, I love them all. But nobody will go across the middle like he could and catch in traffic. That dig route, or the curl, or the post. And he took some licks, but the guy was phenomenal.
Yes, he was.
For him to do the piece of work that he did with the quarterbacks that he had, and Matt Schaub did some good things early on for him, but after that, he had nobody.
You're
but
right.
The body of work that he did is phenomenal, and it's a shame he didn't get in on the first round. And I think he should have, if you consider the body of work and what he had to do all by himself. And then he ended up having some guys to help him out, the Kevin Walters, Andre Davis, Jacoby Jones, people like that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little guy named David Anderson who even sparked us at time. But at the same time, the things that he did, it's just monumental. That it was unbelievable. So, but he'll get his one day. But at the same time, that's another guy. The body of work. I mean, he worked his butt off, man. I mean, he competed. And that's the other thing is that, I love guys that play basketball as a receiver because they can get in and out of the breaks and crossover and things of that nature. But, I look at receivers now, like I said, some of them are just playing basketball. They're playing jump ball.
That's right.
They're not creating separation. They're playing jump ball. And they're making plays. Yeah, I know Chris Carter in his career was phenomenal. He could play with the best, bobbing guys up. I mean, unbelievable. But and some guys are doing that. But the game hasn't changed. It really hasn't. The athletes have, and like Tyreek Hill's a whole new, different kind of guy. And so is Waddell, and the guy I love is that Devontae Smith. He just plays.
Yes.
He don't complain. He's so unassuming, man. I mean, and Brown's good, but Devontae, that's my kind of guy right there.
Yeah. Well, he torched us in the game, and I knew they were going to start going to him. I knew when Steve shut down AJ, I'm just like the natural progression. You got to go Devontae Smith. Why wouldn't you? Right? And he torched us, and rightfully so. That was just mismatch. I would never timeout. We got a safety on Devontae's timeout right now, immediately. Check out of it. We need check.
But there's a lot of good receivers in the league. There really are, and like you said, they all want to catch 5, 6, 7, 8 balls, and then there's some guys that Anyway, I'm not going to go there.
Coach,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, one of the big things that we talked about on the show is in regards to the run game, right, is when a running back has 8 carries, 7 carries, and then you go away from the run game. Then you come back to him in the fourth quarter. He doesn't really get to a rhythm. And we talked about that with Andy Reid kind of going away from the run sometimes in the second half. But the one thing that everyone's bringing up now with the receivers is the fact that we have kind of a 7-man rotation at receivers. There's not like a fixture of 3 or 4 guys who are in there at all times. It's 7 guys kind of rotating. And one of the things that's kind of been talked about is the kind of lack of a rhythm for receivers. And that's something you don't usually hear about. You usually hear about the lack of a rhythm with the running back getting touches or getting carries. Do you kind of see that as far as,
Well, first of all, I'll try to answer the question for you. You have a number 1 receiver, right? You have a number 2 receiver. You have a number 3 receiver. If one of those guys run down the field 2 or 3 times, he needs a break. Yeah. But other than that, you stay in the game. I see guys, tapping out. I see running backs tapping out.
Yeah.
You can't tap out. The great ones don't tap out. And so most of the time you dress 5 receivers in the league, and 2 of them's got to play special teams.
That's right.
But the other 3, they got to play. Again, 8-play drive, so what? 9-play drive, okay. But that's why in practice, I hope I can answer this question for you. We never ran sprints after practice as receivers. And I coached receivers in the league for 17 years. And then some other places, the USFL and XFL, we never run after practice. Why do you think that is? Because we don't run in practice.
That's right.
Every pass we catch, we're going to go 30, 40 yards down the field. Wait, you got to come back, yeah. But you run continuously, nonstop. And so when the game comes, it's easy. There's no tapping out. I just see guys tap out, and it's just, hold on. Running backs, you ran 2 or 3 plays, and I coach running backs too. And I say, this is your series. Go.
Yeah.
That's your series.
series.
Next series, all right, you up. All right. Now, next series, he's back up. Now, if a guy gets tired on a long drive, he wants to tap out, yeah, okay, that's fine. You guys handle that. But no, this is your series. 2 or 3 plays, no tapping out, no. Now, I know in the NFL you got a 3rd down back. They say to come in for the passing game, and I get that. But back in the day, we didn't have a 3rd down back.
No.
You do now. But A-Chain, I think he can run 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down.
Yeah.
I think the guy, Swift. I like your guy, McKinnon. I love, but I also really love the kid from Rutgers. Is it Rutgers or Temple?
Yep.
Rutgers. Yeah, Pacheco.
Oh
Yes.
man,
Rutgers.
that guy. I love him because here's a guy that's a quarterback, it's a running back, and to watch him play the things that he does is just. But I know why. McKinney is a talented player. I get that one now. And the other guy from LSU, I know he came in as a rookie and did a lot of good things. But again, hey, you're gonna play your horses. I coached running backs at Florida, University of Florida. I had 4 first-round draft choices. Yeah, Neil Anderson, John L. Williams, Lorenzo Hampton, and Emmitt Smith. And when I got the job, the coach asked me, he said, how you gonna coach these thoroughbreds? I said, da. He said, oh, bull crap. He said, you get them to the gate and you let them run.
That's right.
So during the week, I made sure they knew what to do, how to do it. And then on game day, let them go. And man, did they go. Wow. So to answer your question is that I get it, but after a while, you get in the playoffs. Are you going to play 7 guys? Or are you going to play the main guys?
Better be your main guys.
Yep.
I mean, you got to play your horses. If somebody goes down, yeah, but that guy, the thing about backups, okay, Gary Kubiak, he loves telling this story. He had the greatest job in the world, backing up John Elway.
Oh,
And when John Elway went down, he went and played well. Emmitt Smith, I coached Emmitt Smith, right? I coached 3 of Emmitt Smith's backups. 3. I coached Kirvin Richards, who played at Pitt for me, Emmitt's backup. I coached Derek Lassick at Alabama, who played for me, Emmitt's backup. And I coached Sherman Williams at Alabama, Emmitt's backup. The greatest job in America to back up Emmitt. The greatest job. When you get a chance, don't fumble the ball. Just do what you're supposed to do. You know, when I die and come back, you know what I want to do?
What?
I want to be the catcher that warms up the pitcher. That's the greatest job in the world. I want to come back as a defensive line coach.
What are you really coaching? What are you doing? You know, you let these guys go. Let them go. What do you need ball, get ball? That's what you need to do. How about that?
Okay. I hope I answered your question, but like I said, you get to the playoffs. I mean, I know when the first Super Bowl we won, they said after the last season, they said, "All right, you can see a different practice, different." The atmosphere was totally different. I mean, just unbelievable how these guys prepared, and it was easy. It was easy.
And you know this also too. It don't matter how much money you're making. If you're not getting the job done, they're gonna put the guy out there who's doing the job, who's making the plays. We had a guy, Justin Watson, that got 11 targets in the game. Rashid Rice, who was our workhorse, we got in. And, obviously, Rashid deserves that. He's putting in the time and effort. He's been making plays. That was a little lopsided. And so I think because of the Chiefs, how they do things a little bit differently, and everybody's interchangeable. That's how it works with the Chiefs, right? I say it's more of a small man offense, okay? Because if you look at their, the body type, what they're looking for, a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of motions, fit into windows and holes. It's not the big J.J. Stokes or Terrell Owens that you see as a receiver in Kansas City. It's just not. You got the smaller guys that they like, which is fine. But I do believe there is something with that as far as like in the rotation of the game, you got to have your core guys in the game playing. I never understood it either. You could not get a veteran to tap out. He wouldn't want to come out of the game. He'll wave you off. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Now I'll come, and you almost had to go out there and go grab him, coach. Right? I mean,
I got. Go ahead. I got another story to tell you.
Sometimes you got to go out there and say, man, just take a break real quick. Just one snap. I just need you for a second, okay? I just need you just to tell you something, all right? But go ahead. Yeah.
All right. My last story. I know I've got a bunch of stories. I'm coaching at University of Florida, and Emmett's a freshman, and we're playing Miami, and Emmett's pulling on my pants. Coach, put me in. Just hold on, Coach. I'm trying to let the guy, it's been there. And waited his turn. So we lose that game like 34-7. Emmett rushed 5 times for 20 yards. The next week we're playing at home, and they kick off tours, and we drive, and we got a first down, and I put Emmett in the ball game. And the running back did this. He said, "Get out. No, I ain't coming out." Emmett ran back off the field. I said, "What's up?" He said, he wouldn't come out. I said, "Next play, get in there." The guy came off the field. Emmett touched the ball, went 64 touchdown. Finished the day like 15 carries, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. The next week, we played the University of Alabama with with Thomas and Bennett and all those guys, I think it was. And he starts a true freshman, rushed like 32 times, 195 yards, a couple of touchdowns. We beat Alabama, who just beat Penn State. That's how Emmett got. And from then on, he didn't leave the field. But I'm just saying, all of a sudden, those guys, want to tap out. The guy didn't. He knew if he came out of the ball game and Emmett got in the game, it was over. That's right. Yeah. It was over. And true enough, it's a great story. But the guy ended up playing in the league too. Okay. But it's just amazing that hey, if you got it, you got it, and then you got to do it. You got to show it. But like I said, this is a great game, man, and the game hasn't changed. And I think if you want to be great, you can be great. That's up to you, And if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough. I wasn't good enough to get to the league. I thought I was get an opportunity. I said no, but I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to coach in college, win a national championship, want to coach in the NFL, win a Super Bowl, and did that, and then go get a couple of USFL on the side, which was that's God's favor, though. I didn't, that's God. That's His favor upon me, So but that's why I have a chance to give back. I want to give back and teach, and I can't take it with me.
Right. Yeah.
But like I said, at some point in time, like I said, I like giving back. I like teaching and showing guys, hey, if this guy can do it, you can do it. And but every route's different. A slant's different from a hitch. A hitch versus press man, Jason, you see it running all the time. It's now a stop route, but you got to sell what route? Go.
Go route. That's right.
And at 8 yards, that ball's got to be in the air. And he's going to back patch it, back shoulder you. So, like I said, it's just a teaching, and I like teaching, and I guess I'm going to do it until that time comes where I have to go up there and teach. So,
well, Coach, listen, you will give a wealth of knowledge to any of the coaches, especially the players. They would all benefit. You will enrich every single one of them just with your knowledge. And this is your personality, who you are. I mean, really, I think that really tells a tale. It's not just the guys that you have coached, but actually who you are, right? And how they speak about you. And that says a lot. That says a lot. And so I gave Marcus the video. I wanted to show the video of you getting into the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just guys, kind of congratulating you, but thanking you for what you meant to them in that. You don't mind can we show that? You don't mind, do you?
Fired up.
Okay. All right.
It's queued up. All right. That was awesome.
That's wonderful.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Coach, I hope that just paid homage to you, just a little bit of just showing that for us, showing respect, We appreciate you so much for coming on the show and giving all the knowledge. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Okay.
We haven't figured out. We won't take your time up.
Well, your rating may go down. You may not want me back.
No. Hey, listen. Hey, we're looking at the chats, man, and everybody's like, "Please come to Kansas City. We would love to have you here, consulting or whatever. You got to come. They're ready to get you here in Kansas City. They will put together a GoFundMe or whatever to get you in the Chiefs building, man. I promise you they will. I promise you. I know it.
That's awesome. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
And let's do it again.
But before you go, I do want to ask, because I noticed obviously you coached with the Texans, and there was that clip right there was you and DeAndre Hopkins standing next to each other. This whole offseason, JD and I were pleading with the Chiefs to go get DeAndre Hopkins. There was rumors that we had a conversation, but once OBJ signed in Baltimore, that contract, he wanted more than what was initially talked about. But how great would DeAndre Hopkins fit in the Chiefs offense?
Well, I think he would definitely make plays that no one else can make on the ball. I never forget, I coached him. We drafted him as a rookie, and we come to Kansas City Chiefs. My last story. I keep telling you it's my last story.
I love it.
We played the Kansas City Chiefs, and you're in cover 2, Jason, and we call all go. 2 verticals inside, 2 verticals outside.
Yep.
You're in cover 2. And DeAndre went outside. And I just said to you earlier, why would you go outside and get forced out of bounds, right?
Yep.
That DB jumped outside, you go inside, stack him back. Now you got 2-on-1 on the safety. And he catches the ball for a 50-yard touchdown pass against the Kansas City Chiefs as a rookie. And the coach in the box was yelling, "He went inside. He can't go inside. It's a goal route. Mm-hmm. He takes best release. You don't say he can't go inside. Why would you say that?" And but anyway, he would have made you guys a good team. He'd have made you a good team, DeAndre, whatever. He still can do it. He sure can.
Oh, yeah. Everybody kept saying he was washed up, coach. I'm like, man, you talking about the most prolific wide receiver in the past 10 years? Y'all crazy. Hey. Y'all are crazy.
No. Hey, he's one of those guys, just put the ball up. He's going to get it. He ain't going to drop it. He's going to go get it. So.
Right. Coach, thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Look, hey, happy Thanksgiving. God bless you for everything that you've been doing. Thank you again so much for just coming on the show and talking to us. And we appreciate it. The fans appreciate it. They're telling you how much they just love you and your stories. And I know you got thousands of them.
Well,
So
the best one though is the story getting on the show tonight. That's one you can tell.
And we made it, Coach.
Hey, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah,
that's a hit. All right, guys. Love you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I love you too, Coach.
Happy Thanksgiving, Coach.
Too. Appreciate it.
And for all our fans out there, happy Thanksgiving to you all. We hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. We loved everyone being in the chat. Again, another long show, but I'm sure everyone was loving those stories. I know I was. But yeah, amazing show. We hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving with your family. If you got turkey bowls, I hope everyone drinks, hydrates, stretches beforehand. I got my turkey bowl on Friday. So I hope everyone, injury-free, we can get home and enjoy some Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Happy Thanksgiving, Marcus, to you and your family and to everybody out here in Chiefs Concerns world. Thank you for showing up, hearing the wealth of knowledge, but more importantly, be safe. God bless each and every one of you, and to your families. Y'all take care. And yes, what about the Eagles? Yes, to y'all, the Eagles too. I see a Eagles fan in the chat, man. All right, God bless you as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Be safe, more important than anything else. And at the end, go Chiefs, okay? We'll come see y'all. We'll come see y'all, Eagles. It's going to be in the Super Bowl, so believe it, all right? But everybody stay safe, all right? And thank you very much, all right? Okay?
And just a reminder, schedule update, Friday night, we'll still be on for our betting show, and that's where we'll have our prediction. So I think the prediction will fit in nicely with our betting show for the Raiders game on Sunday. So Friday night betting show, Sunday after the Raiders game, we'll have our post-game show on Bleacher Report. So We still got some more content coming your guys' way. So again, love you, JD. I hope everyone in the Dunn household has a fantastic Thanksgiving, my man.
Appreciate it, my brother. Love you too. All right.
Hi, everybody. Have a good night, everyone. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.